Today I would like to share some idea about how to make your games more suitable for Chinese market. I think in the very beginning, let me introduce NetEase very quickly. We are the Chinese developer and the publisher as well. We started our online business from 2001, and we are on the shortly we are on the list on the Nasdaq. Then we moved to mobile business 2 years ago. Right now, according to Apple Annie, we rank the top 3 publisher according to revenue worldwide. Right now, because we are also the developer and the publisher as well, so when we looking for games to license into China, we will take some factors into consideration. So that's why I want to share some mindset and ideas to you. So let's get started. Firstly, I will talk about the difficulties and the challenges about Chinese market. I think especially for a lot of foreign companies or developers, Chinese market is quite unique, but it's profitable, right? So if you want to launch your games in China, what kind of difficulties, challenges you will face it? And then move to the main topic, how to make your games more suitable for Chinese market, then successful example. So first part, the difficulties and the challenges you will face when you go to Chinese market. Okay, so we take a close look about different parts about Chinese market. Firstly, about culture. So I think in China, Chinese players prefer different styles games compared to other countries, I would say. Firstly, you can take a look about the slide on the left is the westward journey from our company. It's our self-development games. You can tell like its art is pretty cute with big hat, and it's according to the Chinese story, westward journey. It's classical Chinese literature. And the land, when you see the pictures in the middle, it's the Yousachi Tonghua. It's the Chinese developers game, and we license it to publish in China. Its art is also quite cute, leaning to realism, and it's according to the realism story, West Magic World. Then we move to the right. You can see the Million Arthur. Its developer it's a Japanese company, Square Enix. We license into China, and we also got a huge success in China. Its style is cartoon, is exaggerating, and it has the lovely story, no particular storyline, but it's the virtual world. So I think a lot of people will also have already know that when it comes to technology, it's quite different between China and the West. In China, when you want to launch your games especially in third-party channels for Enjoy, they will ask you, when it comes to casual games, they prefer the download size should be under 100 megabytes. Non-casual game, maybe it's okay to over 200 megabytes, but they prefer maybe under 5 or 400 megabytes. But in West, I think Western developers, they want to let audience or players get the best experience. So maybe the bigger files size is okay, but in China it's not so suitable. And when it comes to the capabilities, you can see on the screen, there are over 400 Android channels. Each requires different SDK, so that means a lot of workload for your engineers. And but in the West, it's pretty simple. Only Android and Google Play and Apple Store. Sorry. And about anti-cheating. Okay, in China, Chinese players, they are, I would say, pretty good to find loopholes in your games. So if you cannot respond list or fix your bugs very quickly, as soon as possible, you possibly losing some money about it. And when it comes to server, they prefer separate servers. That means you can build out different leaderboards for them. They can compete with each other in different servers. And about competition, you can tell in China, the competition is pretty fierce, I would say. And only the innovative and well-published games can win over the most of game players. So like Western Arena, Fence World Journey, Tai Chi Panda, Dota Legend. So these games are quite popular in China because they with IPs and well published. So let's move to the main idea I want to share today. So how to make your games more suitable for Chinese market. So how to make your games more suitable for Chinese market? I think there are three main factors. Of course, firstly, you should try to create a very innovative gameplay. It's also about the experience that users experienced. And you also have to take community. That means social system into consideration, because you want to let your users can interact with each other inside your game. It doesn't like most of Western games. They will rely on Facebook or Twitter or other social platforms to let users to interact with each other or talk to each other. If you want to increase your retention rate for your games, community, social platforms inside your game, you should take this into consideration. Then I will also talk about monetization. I think if you want to go to the Chinese market, before you produce or make your games, maybe you can take these three factors into consideration. Then we try to talk this in different parts. Firstly, innovative gameplay. Although maybe a lot of people will say that Chinese game developers are not very innovative, but the problem is the market is saturated with copies. That means if you launch again, a lot of people will try to copy your gameplay. So, but still, if you can create quite unique gameplay in the very beginning, you can be the first mover. You can get a lot of advantage, and you can try to avoid the fierce competition. And the market trends, like I said, market trends move very fast, rapidly. So if you want to get a trend, you have to move very fast. When you have the very good idea, you will try to put them into reality very fast. And right now, I think, like I said, the market is quite crowded. There are many games with big IPs, maybe from Japan, from Western countries. But with, even though with pretty good quality, no longer enough to ensure your success in China. So I think that it's also another part you have to take into consideration. I think in China, when you want to design again, you should take this into consideration as well. Like, if you can attract a lot of users, what kind of scale for your game you want to achieve? And because I think people know that Chinese market has a lot of players, so there are a lot of big potential audience. So they are willing to pay a lot. Although I think in the very beginning they prefer free to play. It's kind of Chinese culture because they prefer to experience stuff freely. But when they love land, they are willing to pay a lot. So if you can put these ideas when you try to design new games, that will help you to get a bigger success. And also talking about the monetization, I think this part, everyone should be pretty familiar with. A lot of Chinese companies always try to bring this idea to you, but I think I will just go through this very quickly. Like, yeah, Chinese players prefer free to play. They don't want to pay before. I think it's because China lacks console games industry or this kind of experience. So people are not willing to pay in the very beginning, but when they are addicted to the games, they are willing to pay a lot. Inside the game, just imagine when you visit a shopping mall, when stay in the game over the mall over 5 or 6 hours a day, I think at least you should buy something and maybe are willing to buy the items inside the game. And I think this part, a lot of people didn't mention in a lot of presentation. I think community is quite important in China. A lot of people always say that maybe in China, if you want to launch your games, you only have to build out the PvP modes in your game. But for ourselves, I think that's not enough. So if you want to design your games for China, you should try to embed it growing system, social system, PvP mode, guild system. I think the main reason behind is you try to let your users can interact with each other inside your game. So that will help your retention rate in China. Because I think that's also about the culture. There is no console game industry in China. So when Chinese people they were young, they just play MMORPG games, online games in the coffee shop, internet coffee shop, at their home. So they are pretty familiar with this gameplay and interact with their friends. Especially, I can tell like a lot of my colleagues or my friends, when they go to the office, they will just enter, log in the games they are playing. And maybe they don't have enough time to play it, but they will put maybe their cell phone, their iPad aside, just waiting for their friends to log in. They can interact with each other no matter how, where they are. Especially China is a pretty big country, right? So a lot of people can use this kind of games I think we can also call it like the social platform. So people can use these games to interact with each other. So like our Fantasy Westward Journey, most of our players are willing to play it over 6 hours a day. So you can tell that's a pretty huge difference compared to other games. And then I just want to show a very successful example from our company. Actually, it's World Soccer Collection S. We licensed in this game from Japanese company Konami. It's our first mobile game licensed from Konami, right? And it's the top game since launch, and it reached to the 11th place on the grossing chart. And right now, it still can help us to make revenue from it. We have already released it. I think it's almost 2 years. So what we have done for it, so we do a lot of localization job for it. So like I said, if you want to make a very successful launch in China, you should put a lot of like daily tasks, social system, or newbie guide to lead these players to enjoy your gameplay very fast. You can also add leaderboards in it. It also can create like the competition atmosphere inside the game. So with full automation of the newbie guide. So we add animation, compositive guide for players. They can experience the gameplay very fast. And we also like add the event for the 7-day check-in. So that will help you to increase the retention rate. And we also like add game Wikipedia aiming to guide players to how to better understand the whole game, the different system, because we add different social system or other system into it, so they can better understanding how to play these games and compete with their friends or work together with their friends inside the game. When they feel they are like they can play very well inside the game, that will also help them to stay or increase the retention rate inside the game. So because Chinese players they consume the content very fast, so we kind of update our version very fast. Like we add World Challenge match, so players can challenge different players from by teams. So that can increase the interaction between players. Then we also add the leaderboards. I think in Japan they didn't increase. They don't want to encourage people to like compete with each other. So, but in China, they want to know how well they played inside the game. And we also add like a glassy match play, so players can play with each other and enjoy the gameplay. After that, they can get a special award from it. So I think that's pretty much I want to share today. And if you have any question, you are free to ask. Thank you.
Hi, Gary. My name is Pavel, and I have a question about the game. When you were talking about a newbie guide, and you told us that we need to make a wiki, did you mean that it's like a website or it's inside of the game?
Okay, it's inside the game. So we add another system inside the game because, like I said, we try to increase our retention rate. We don't want to lead our users to other websites, so they can just check these kind of different turns inside, then they can keep playing. That's what we want to achieve.
Hey, thanks for the great talk. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned a marriage system as a social strategy in a game, but I don't think I've played any games on mobile that have marriage systems. So are there any examples you can think of or how they work?
Okay, like I said, I think in China, a lot of people maybe that kind of social life, in real life. So they are willing to interact with others, even though they don't know each other. So they can just log into the games, looking for some friends over there. In the meantime, especially for some guys, they can also looking for some potential partners inside the game. So if you are a guy, you play well into the game, you want to show like how strong you are. You can teach other maybe female players how to play the game. In the meantime, you can create pretty good like chemistry between each other. So we try to encourage they will have more interaction through this kind of behavior. So we also set out this kind of marriage systems. So if you you got a marriage with each others, you will get some bonus or rewards from it. So except this marriage system, we also have like a mentor system. If you are good enough, you can teach others. You can also get a reward from it. I hope that can, I hope it answer your question.
Hi, Gary. Thank you for the good presentation. I would like to ask about the monetization techniques that you are doing in China. Besides in-app purchases, what are the ads monetization trends that's very effective in China market?
Okay. I think I don't want to comment other Chinese companies, but for NetEase, I think when we design games, we want to like let our users can enjoy the game themselves first, and when they really love these games, when they stay inside the game, like I said, maybe stay over 6 hours a day. So because these games are kind of become part of their life. So when you want to play maybe well inside the game, you are willing to buy some items to help you to maybe level up faster, and also like you want to please your wives or your like friends inside the game. You can also buy some like gifts for them. So it's just imagine it's like the real life when you visit the shopping mall. You want to buy something for your friends or hang out with your friends, and when you want to go through the conquest, you want to be the the strongest one to help your friends to go through the quest. So you will become more popular between your like groups. So I think that's the main idea about that.
Hey Gary, I have one more question.
Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. I have a quick question regarding the trends, overall market trends for the gaming industry. I guess in Asia, as being a growing trend towards kind of hardcore games, given the monetization is better, and also the bigger kind of developers are gaining a lot of success. So what's your opinion on the potential trends? Is that going to be more concentrated on those hardcore kind of genres, or in terms of the casual games, there will still be smaller players playing in their roles?
From our perspective, we are also developing casual games as well, mid-core casual games and hardcore games. I think there are still a lot of places for casual games or micro games. But you have to try to create a pretty good gameplay that your users feel exciting and they are willing to pay your games. But in the meantime, like I said, even you create a casual games or micro games, you still take this kind of maybe social system or how to make your users have more interaction inside the game, and that will increase your retention rate. And still, although I think right now most of games in the grocery chart in China are pretty hardcore, I would say, but still you can see some maybe casual games on the chart. And for us, we also need these casual games to attract more users, to increase our user pool. So in the meantime, NetEase is also developing casual games and try to attract different audience into our user pools.
Thank you so much, Gary. That's all the questions we have time for at the moment. Please join me in thanking Gary.
Thank you.